Welcome to the Quick Stop F1 podcast. My name is Nyasha and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Joining me today is Wordsmith of Wordsmiths. Huh? What you know about that? Sometimes I've got to get the Google Translate out on the tweets because I'm like, this English is a lot. It's a lot right now.
Yeah, yourself.
You've seen the levels go up on the videos on YouTube. And I'm proud to have him here today. It is CameronF1.
How are we doing, bro? I appreciate you as always, man, and appreciate the market leading work that you and your team are doing here on the Quick Stop F1 YouTube channel, podcasting platforms, all that good stuff. Quick Stop F1 live in Austin this week. What do you mean? In the words of Nyasha of Quick Stop F1, don't piss me off.
Don't! Okay. What do you want me to say right now? I don't know. People want me to be humble about this shit. No, I refuse. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
You don't know. If you're watching this far, welcome to the Quick Stop F1 podcast. But remember, give the video a like and a subscribe. If you're watching on, if you're listening on Spotify, 5-star review. If you're on Apple Music podcast, make sure you leave a review on there, as well as a 5-star review. And remember, there's a Patreon for the ad-free stream. Also, remember, if you're in Austin this weekend, feel free to come on down to the Quick Stop F1 live show. There's literally less than 10 tickets left. Like, they will be gone. A few more sold like earlier today. By the time we get around to Sunday, they'll be gone. Don't miss out. And then message me on Sunday like, oh, is there any more tickets? There will be none. And in fact, I'm not paying roaming charges, so I won't even get that message. Are you daft? You seen how much roaming charges are? Do you think I'm paying that? I'm gonna have no signal the whole weekend. Cameron,
talk to me, bruv. Talk to me.
It's weird because we had a race in Qatar. A race full of incident, full of things for us to talk about. And then it kind of felt like everyone was a bit quiet for a bit. It felt like, okay, the quiet before the storm of a triple header that we have coming up with Austin, Mexico City, and Sao Paulo back to back. And then the FIA decided that they were just going to stir the pot a little bit and they were going to get shit crack-a-lacking. So, for those who don't know, October 15th. Oh, this was literally yesterday, a couple of days ago. So, the FIA decided to revisit the incident in which Lewis Hamilton crossed a live track during the Qatar Grand Prix. So if you recall, after the crash with George Russell, Lewis was seen kind of walking across the track. It was in a gravel trap off the first corner, obviously walking back to the pit. Obviously, at the time, the steward's original decision was that in view of his role model, despite the original steward's decision, which was a fine, I believe, a 50,000 euro fine, despite that, they have stated that in view of his role model status, the FIA is concerned about the impression his actions may have created on younger drivers. Cameron, explain this to me.
Bruv, I have no idea what's going on at this stage. The FIA just keep moving in this. It's all fugazi, man. Fairy dust, the way that the FIA are moving at the moment. Consistently inconsistent is what they need to be writing on their epitaph. I just don't get it, bruv, at this stage. Don't get it twisted, Nyasha. I've tried, you know me, the devil's advocate thing, like diagnosis by exclusion. I love to do it, man. But this gets techie each and every single time. How dare they come out and explicitly say that they are treating Lewis Hamilton differently because of his rock star mainstream crossover status? Are you having a laugh, Nyasha? I'm reading this and no, genuinely, bro. I'm reading it and I'm thinking, is this April Fool's? What are we doing? hear Nyasha. I don't want to get all troops so quickly into the podcast, man. But at this stage, listen, said it once and I'll say it a million times. This is meant to be the upper echelons of motorsport. Yeah, F1 is meant to be the creme de la creme. So how we got stewarding team, race director at the regulatory body in the FIA, how are they talking about one driver explicitly, openly, transparently to the public that we're going to treat him differently to any of the other ones on the grid? Nyasha, is this not a sport? Shouldn't this be equality across the board? Consistency is the mandate here. What are we doing, Nyasha? I've had enough. When I read that, I was like, you know what? I've been waiting for opportunity to cancel this Sky Sports subscription. I've been waiting. This might be time now, Nyasha. I'm telling you, because we've talked about this. How many times have we had this conversation now, Nyasha? This same convo in this same framing. Brazil 21, yeah. Bloody brake testing 21, yeah. Brazil, Abu. That not to lest we forget. Brazil 21, turn 4, lap 44. Like, how many times are we going to have this same conversation? Max Verstappen had 3 infringements just the other bloody day. And I tried to argue that this was incompetence more than victimizing or them being anything else. But again, I'm that they give me nothing to argue with. Nyasha, this is just unacceptable. But as a sport, when they drop a statement like that, how is that not bringing the sport into disrepute, Nyasha?
Let me tell you something now. Yeah. I'm not with the shit. I'll tell you that now. Off the bat, you cannot trick me. These man, like they are the only sport in the world, and we are fucking idiots. Like they think we're thick, stupid. What is that quote? I always go back to it in Don't Look Up. And they're talking about conspiracy theories that the government might have. And then Jennifer Lawrence's character is like, none of them are actually that. They're all stupid as fuck. None of them are actually as smart as you're making them out to be. And I genuinely think we've looked at and we've seen a federation that has consistently been in such a fucking bubble. They call F1 the traveling circus. Never has it been more true than a bunch of unelected delegated officials making up shit on the spot with the PR acuteness of a fucking turd. What are we doing here? Imagine in football if there was a VAR kind of incident and we're not sure about it, and then they're like, go back and like, actually, that 2-footed tackle that Messi done, we're going to go back and look at that because Messi is no one does that. Because in sport, the whole thing is that we're treated as equals. We're supposed to be all treated as equals under the sun, from the top rung to the bottom rung. Why? A week after the incident, are you saying, actually, let's go back on that because Lewis Hamilton walking across the track is significantly worse than when Max Verstappen walked across the track, when other drivers walked across the track? I'm going to read you a tweet from Spanners. Big up Spanners. Big up the Mr. Apex podcast. Just 24 hours ago, it would have been called a mad conspiracy. But now we have irrefutable proof that F1 treats incidents involving Lewis Hamilton differently to incidents involving other drivers. What the fuck are we doing here?
Mad, bruv. Mad.
And look, I don't want to be the one that always has to take it there, okay? I don't want to do it, okay? Everyone, I can hear the click, clackety clack of half of the Netherlands under this fucking post right now. You always take it to race. It's not about race. Why is he treated differently? And why is he different? Give me the biggest difference between Lewis Hamilton and the rest of the grid right now. And if it's not his race, then what is it?
That, bruv, but that's the point. That the way you've done that there is the way that I've tried to do this thing by deduction, looking at each and every single one of those incidents. So look, if you go down Abu Dhabi, you can say that maybe they made some of those decisions to keep it close because of course there is the commercial element, and it makes sense to try and manufacture the big grandstand finish that's controversial so that the whole world and its dog talks about the chaos that was Abu Dhabi and the lead up to that. And that kind of cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar bills.
Money is king.
Get it, Nyasha. Green is the only thing that can. And you could argue that then as a reason why. But now, Nyasha, Lewis Hamilton is not fighting for any championships. This doesn't matter. See the way they're able to just, well, you know what? We're not going to revisit Max's stuff because it's lost in the roundings, fade to black. It doesn't matter now. Couldn't they have done that with Lewis's thing? What are we? Nah, Nyasha, it's too much now. So the problem is then, Nyasha, even if you do it by deduction, money, it can't be that consistent inconsistency. Maybe that's still in the reckoning for nomination. Bloody, what's the other one now? Incompetence of the stewards, potentially still in the reckoning. But race absolutely has to be. But if you're talking about reasons and causality, Lewis Hamilton being the only black man on the grid, as far as the way that the stewards are treating him, you cannot rule this out definitively. Not anymore. Not anymore. We've got to talk. And you know what? I'd see that and I'd raise you this, Nyasha. I didn't come on here today to just talk, because the community will always just talk about these things. And then the next time something like this happens, what we're gonna do again? We're gonna hold court again. Gonna recall Congress and have another chat about it. I think this is the point when talking needs to stop and action needs to come to the fore. Too many sideline merchants that don't have the platform of a Quick Stop F1 or a CameronF1 or any of the other guys in the space are just talk is cheap, Nyasha. It only gets us so far, man. And I'm sat here and I'm a bit disillusioned that we are yet again talking about this stuff with a view to not even make something happen. What's going to transpire after this? What's the upshot? What happens next? What's the action? There's me, Nyasha.
Look, I don't have to. I'm not going to mince my fucking words anymore, bro. I'm not going to mince my words because you know what? I have spent the last 2.5 years having people deliberately misunderstand me, bring straw man arguments, make me feel like I'm a fucking idiot for things that I can empathize with. Can I empathize with being a 7-time, 8-time Formula One world champion? No, I cannot. Can I empathize with being a black person in a system which is not designed for you to prosper? Yes, I can. So I'm not going to mince my words anymore. I'm not going to be scared of people saying, oh, you always take it there, you always go there. Because if we don't say anything, no one's going to say anything.
Right.
True. And look, the worst thing about this, like you say, when you take it down and you break it down, you're like, whoa, which one is it? Which one is it? At best, we're looking at one of the most incompetent sporting federations I've ever seen in my life. These men make people look good. I can't even believe it. You're telling me that a week after the race, scratching your ass, you've just gone, oh, you know what? One. It's not even like it was a missed. You know what? There was less looked into for a bunch of Just Oil protesters who nearly got themselves ploughed down on a road crossing the track. That Lewis walking across the track whilst people were under safety car, for fuck's sake. It's not even like it was. It just does not make sense.
Just a bit anal, Nyasha. Just a bit anal, bruv.
Well, why? What is? And this is the thing. This is the thing, right? Cool. You can tell me, and this is why people think when we say like stuff is based on race, all they think about is the Nelson P case of this world, who we'll get to. They think of, you know, the people who are under our comments in our DMs, the people who openly will just call us the N-word, people who openly use slurs, people who openly just be racist to your face, not taking into account things like institutional racism, which is so insidious and so backhanded and so under the surface that unless it happens to you, or you have your eyes open and you're woke, the actual meaning of woke, and not what you right wingers seem to have turned this word into as another way to say N word, you would not know. And instead of listening to people, a lot of people, by the way, these are not just the ramblings of two men in their house chatting shit for no reason. These are multiple hundreds of thousands of people who are saying, hey, this is fucked up. And the reason for that is, yes, this is incompetence, right? Base level incompetence. What's fueling that? What's the tertiary reason behind this incompetence? And if you're telling me that it's just a bunch of stupid people walking around making stupid decisions, I could believe you if some of the stupidest shit that I've ever seen didn't keep happening to the same guy. And you can look, you can come to me with, oh, but don't you remember when Lewis done this and he got a 5-second penalty? I'm sorry. Let's go back to jewelry gate.
Oh, mate.
And there were people running around and they were insisting on Lewis taking off his jewelry. This is after Abu Dhabi, by the way.
Oh.
And like, how are we going to crack down on this guy? How are we going to bring him back into place? Okay, no jewelry. But then they were like, oh, Roman Grosjean, or someone else was like, oh, not Roman Grosjean, but someone else was like, oh, well, I need my wedding ring. I can't take my wedding ring off. Okay, you can keep your wedding ring on, but take those earrings out.
Waste.
What are we doing here? I don't know, Cam. Like, it's blatant. It's clear as day. I'm tired of sugarcoating it. I'm tired of like not saying it because I'm just like, in what world is statistically, whether you think he deserves it or not, in what world is statistically the greatest driver your sport has ever seen who brings millions upon millions of marketing capital to your business, let alone cold hard cash? At what point do we just ask, why the fuck would any organization treat one of, if not the, maybe not sporting wise, but it's just not a business at the end of the day, why would you not treat your star player with a base level of humanity and sporting respect? And I can't get with it.
But Nyasha, you over-egg it, brother. It's not, it's, this is rules that we're talking about, not the crystallization of the rules, but the way in which they're instituted and implemented. They need to be consistent across the board. Consistent. There can't be a driver that gets better or worse treatment, because that's not how rules work, Nyasha. Not in sports, not in high-level sports. That's not the way this thing works, bruv. This isn't about, I think we're missing a trick if we start talking about humanity and social justice. This isn't that. Not talking about, this is a sport, yeah. And the one thing with rules, yeah, they need to be clear, consistent, and transparent, both in the way they're written and in their implementation accordingly. Done. That's all that we're asking for here. This isn't not asking anybody to run marathons or do Ironmans. This isn't like, do you know what I mean? This isn't difficult stuff.
Yeah.
Write the rules properly and apply them. FIA, Mohammed Ben Salah, this is F1, FFS. Crying out loud, chaps. How are we still here 24 months later, Nyasha, having these same bloody conversations? I'm tired of it, brother. I'll be honest.
I know, I'm done. About the rules. The rules of the sport.
This is long.
I get. Look at football in VAR, right? No sport's perfect. We look at football in VAR. Obviously, incidents where PGMOL, you know, the referees kind of organization, having to make apologies because they have fundamentally failed to apply the rules properly, right?
Sound familiar?
Right. So I get it. But that is done equally. It doesn't matter who does it. If it's not applied properly, then there's whatever, right? To single him out and to do it with no thought of how that looks or sounds on the sport is incredible. It's incredible. I can't believe, like I say, in 2023, 2 years down the line, I'm watching this sport that I love act so incompetently and just wrong. It's just wrong. I can't
Bad,
get
bruv.
with this shit.
So it's a bad situation. And you know what, Nyasha, again, I will see that on a raise this finally on this.
Yeah.
If they can say that in public, I don't know whether that's a function of incompetence or a lack of sensitivity or PR savvy. I don't know how we'd characterize that. But if they can come out and say that in public, can you imagine what's going on behind closed doors, bro? Jesus Christ. Mate, there is. I honestly, Nasha, there is the FIA at this point is a pail of water with far too many bloody holes in it. It rears its ugly head via incompetence or the R word, which again we'll come to in short order. Inconsistent. It's just ridiculous each and every single time. And as an F1 fan, you know what, Nasha, the joke is, say this finally. I live for Formula One as a sport. I love sport. Like you, Nash, I love sports. Life is far too hard. Work is far too dreary every single week for me not to go and watch some sports on the weekend. I love it. What I haven't come for here, though, to do is to relitigate the incompetence or the lack of PR savvy or FIA dropping the ball yet again. I'm not here for that, Nasha. I don't want to talk about these things because that's not the modus operandi that I'm bought into as an F1 fan. They go, honestly, bruv, this continues. They got good. Luckily for them, it's one of these seasons where it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Nobody cares. Imagine if it was tight again, National, and they're still doing these.
Well,
bruv.
And that's the thing. You know, we always say it. Ferrari fans, you know, we've seen them kind of say, "Oh, wait, hang about, like these sanctions that we're getting compared to the sanctions that Red Bull are getting don't seem to be taken at the same level," right? When was it? Was it earlier this season?
What?
Where Sainz got a 5-second penalty, like off the bat. Got a 5-second, but no, they didn't even like consider listening to it after the.
Oh, you want about Leclerc Suzuka last year, right?
Leclerc Suzuka, but I think it was signed in Australia as well this year potentially because of the safety car restarts and stuff that happened there. Again, you know, there's so many times where other teams have been like, "Oh my god, these are fucking incompetent as fuck. Why are Red Bull always getting leniency?" Look, just looking at the 3 reprimands Max got, and then they're having to come out and go, "Yeah, actually, yeah, we probably should have." Why? Like, why? Why is that? Why is, like, it can't be luck. So what is it? And if you look, it's crazy. I've said it so many times. The way that Red Bull, and this is why you always call Christian Horner a gangster, the way that they position themselves as the new age Ferrari, who have incredible political power, should be noted. Because, and that's part of the game, right? Maybe we should applaud them for that. It's not Red Bull's fault, like I said in that video. It's not Red Bull's fault that they've managed to get the FIA wrapped around their little finger. It's not Max Verstappen's fault that he's got the FIA wrapped around his little finger. It's the governing body's fault for literally blushing every time Red Bull look their way and being so incapable of doing their job I've worked in retail before. Sometimes the customer service is a little bit better when the gal is nice. I'll say it. I'm not proud of it. I put on extra sauce. I got them clothes from the back. I went and looked. Anyone else? No. Shit is gone. Go somewhere else. Piss me off, bruv. Anyway.
Nailed it, man.
Look,
Nailed it, man. But Red Bull, you know what? You do make a serious point there, Nyasha. As far as teams currently on the grid, which of them, if not for Red Bull, have done the most off their own back as far as promoting the sport globally? They do all these Red Bull runs and these show runs. They did a hometown run. They're taking F1 cars around the world pretty much off their own back. F1 don't pay them for that. And there should be a payment due. And I think what you're talking to, Nash, as far as the why Red Bull are looked upon more broadly, more leniently when it comes to these things, has something to do with that, because F1 can't afford for Red Bull to go elsewhere. They need to keep them in F1 because they're the biggest marketing tool globally. Take their cars everywhere, bro, on the road.
20% of the grid as well. You know, when you have a fifth of the grid, you know.
Listen to me. Numbers, bro. Mexico, the Checo just raced to Las Vegas. They put together these pieces off their own back because they're just a marketing firm at the end of the day. And that's a humongous upside. F1 doesn't do that. F1's not looking to organize that. Red Bull are doing F1's bidding for them in that sense.
And we should be looking at that, right? What has F1's marketing team done? Let's be real. Let's be real. We're going to Vegas in a month. Tell me, other than those Elvis Presley $2.99 jackets that seem to have gone down extremely well with anyone over the age of 55. What the fuck have these men done to promote it? Other than scare everyone with the prices that they're charging. I'm going Vegas. You think I'm buying a fucking Formula One ticket? Fuck that. But you know what they are doing? Can I research where I can watch this race outside in Vegas? Like, are there pubs? Are there fan gatherings? Are there nothing? Want to watch race in Vegas, not the track? Oh yeah, you can get a 10 grand a night hotel room, which you can watch it out your window. No balcony. Watch it through some perspex. Anyway, I just honestly, F1 lucked into everything that they've got right now. Drive to Survive wasn't supposed to be a fucking a documentary which focused on personal lives as much as it did. The only reason they did that is because they didn't have Mercedes, they didn't have Ferrari, and so they had to. They were forced into doing the style they did, and they struck lucky. Also lucky that the person they bought it off literally refused to share the sport online. Their base level, the bar was in hell for raising this product. I could have gone into F1 in 2016 and raised the share price just by being like, you know what? I reckon we could put this shit on YouTube, you know? Hey, let's get these highlights on YouTube. Hey, let's get an Instagram account. Let's get this shit popping. Like, what the fuck's going on? We're looking at FIA and Formula One. They can't even agree on what fucking teams to put into the sport. F1 doesn't want new teams.
Oh my gosh, bro.
They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
Gatekeeping the thing.
I've never you know what? I was so impressed with James Vowles' interview, but I've never seen more eloquent cock blocking in my whole life since I was in Oceana Watford 2010. God damn. I've never seen a man block another man's bag so eloquently. This guy was pleading poverty in a Qatar paddock. in a Gulf State paddock. But they don't want it. And this is the just how the sport, just to bring it back to the original point, the way the sport's run, it's not coherent, and it goes from the top to the bottom in both entities. And the people that suffer are the fans.
The end user, bruv.
And we're the lifeline of the sport. So
be better. FOM.
Be better. Speaking of someone who should be better, or personally, I would like to be worse for the rest of his life, is Nelson Piquet. This man resurrected Johnny Cochran and he bust case. This man got the dream team back together and he said, I'm not paying a dime. And the Brazilian court has agreed. So, for those that don't know, it was last year, wasn't it? Last year? Yeah, it was last year. Last year, we had debates about this, Cameron.
Oh my God, the semantics.
We debated this, didn't we? So the long and short of it was in an interview that I think was old but surfaced.
Yeah.
Was of Nelson Piquet in an interview. I think it was from the 2021 championship where he was talking about 2020. Was he talking about Rosberg?
Oh, what? No. He was talking about Rosberg, wasn't he?
Yeah, so I think it was like from at least 2016. But it resurfaced, and in it, Nelson Piquet referred to Lewis Hamilton
as Oneguinho.
Right. Now, I'm not going to get into semantics.
Yeah, no, that's not.
But let's just say it is widely used as a racial slur. There were also a lot of homophobic remarks in there.
He didn't mean it as a term of endearment.
It was not a term of endearment. No, it was not a term of endearment. It was far from a term of endearment. Nelson Piquet. Then in the Brazilian court, I think a human rights body took him to court for that. And he was actually ordered to pay like a very hefty fine. 5 million Brazilian reals.
Yeah, it's about $1 million USD, I think.
Yeah, about $1 million USD. But recently, as of yesterday, he's found, and I quote, legal respite as his appeal against the substantial fine has been approved. Despite Piquet and his defense asserting a non-racial context to the offending words, the Brazilian legal system initially ruled against him, only for the fine to be cancelled months later, deeming the remarks as mockery, but not qualifying as hate speech. This is the world we live in. This is the world we live in. A man can get on an interview and call you the N-word on camera, bareface, twice. Not even once. It's not even like, you know, the man are like, oh, you know what, slipping the tongue, I'm not normally like that. He said it twice. Okay. Plus the homophobic remarks. In appeal, and again, goes back to the point I was making. Racism isn't just the Nelson Piquets calling you these words, but it's the institutions that allow it to thrive and uphold. And it's just, I just think it's, how many times do we see stuff on camera and then we see the people get away with it without consequence? I actually saw the other day F1 when Max became a 3-time world champion. There's pictures of all the 3-time world champions on there, and obviously my man was on there. So he's banned from the paddock, but we'll still celebrate him and uphold him and like whatever. What a prick. But what are your thoughts?
Oh, bro, I am selfishly, Nyasha, I've just spoken about the way that a lot of us try and use sport as an escapism, right? I think life is far too hard and racism far too prevalent in every black person's life and the world more broadly. For me as an F1 fan to come in here and start having to talk about racism every other bloody week, it's tiring, Nyasha. Hear me now, hear me clearly. It is bloody tiring. I don't want to talk, and especially when it's Nelson Piquet. This was done right. This was sunk cost. This was one that I didn't ever have to address again. This was in it. This was in the rear view behind us, and now yet again, the R word. That racism door opens itself again, and yet again, here we are talking about injustice at the hands of some old dude who once upon a time said some racist ish. I'm just Nyasha. If you can't tell already, if my tone isn't clear enough, I am tired. And of course, there is an obligation as we are content creators, and each of us have our own platform. Who else but us? There is an obligation there. But Nyasha, if I'm speaking honestly and earnestly, bruv, I don't turn on my TV every weekend to watch some F1 and be bombarded by the very same fuckery that I'm hiding from, that I'm burying my head in because it's coping mechanism, Nyasha. I watch F1 to forget that I've been called the N-word and worse at the office every single week, not to be reminded of it. Honestly, Nyasha, it makes me once again, I'm questioning this more often every single week. Makes me, when I look through my bill statement at the end of the month, makes me look with a discerning eye ever more frequently at that Sky Sports F1 billing, that 60 quid or whatever it is. Bruv, sometimes you got to vote with your feet, eh?
I'm about to move house. About to move house, about to move out. Downsizing everything, as I actually do when you are downsizing your whole life. But now you've mentioned that, I'm like, I've lived a life of Larry right now, bro. I was splitting the Sky Sports package. Give a fuck about that. I'm earning HR money. Like, I'm gonna have to seriously consider, what am I getting from it that I can't get with a VPN and an F1 TV subscriber account? Did you know that before they clocked so many people were doing it? What's the podcast they have?
The Sky one?
No. The
F1 Nation.
F1 Nation, the one with Tom Clarkson.
Yeah, F1 Nation. It's got to be. Or Beyond the Grid.
Beyond the Grid. There you go. Yeah, they used to have adverts for NordVPN, and they used to be like,
so true.
If you can't access F1, use your NordVPN and get it.
So true.
And I remember listening like, wait, are you guys telling me to get a VPN so I can illegally stream F1 and not pay for Sky? Because I'll do it. Because what am I getting from it? What am I getting from F1? I just find it, you know what, like you say, like, it's a gift and a curse. Look, let me be honest. Is it a gift and a curse?
I was just about to say, go on, a detail.
Look, I'm so grateful for being black for so many reasons. Just, you know, I'm proud of my heritage, proud of the person I am, proud of my family, proud of my culture across the board. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm proud that I get to every day in some way, not even like deliberately, but I get to kind of showcase that through how I am, but also kind of infusing elements of culture into what is a very wide sport, right? And I think because of that, we've been able to find a community that relates to us and backs us, not just online, but with money, merch, live shows. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for all of that. What I'm not grateful for is the exact thing that you kind of said, is that I don't want to have to be reminded of this constantly of just how much F1 reminds me of the workplace. How much F1 reminds me of when I first moved to Sheffield, and I was this young 18-year-old from London, well, from Hertfordshire, with dreadlocks, sticking out like a sore thumb, getting followed everywhere, every shop I went into, not getting into nightclubs just off the
Oh,
strength.
bruv.
Like, you know, I just want a bit of escapism. I don't want to have to. I want to be able to make jokes without having people under my posts saying horrible shit all the time, you know? And I don't want to, I'd love to be able to talk about stuff like this and people just listen and not argue. I don't want to argue with you about my humanity. I don't want to argue with you about my experiences. Like, honestly, this is not the debate team, bro. And if you're still in a debate team mindset, go back to school, join a club. Stop doing it in YouTube comments and Twitter. You loser. You're not an intellectual because there's going to be people who are going to say, well, Nelson Piquet didn't say anything wrong. Guys, you're wrong. You're wrong, but I don't have to debate that. And stuff like this doesn't help because you are then fed, well, in a court of law. If it's been ratified in a court of law, then there can't have been anything wrong with that, right?
Gosh.
And these are the real life instances. And look, I'm not comparing this to some of the grave judicial injustices that we've seen in our time, beyond our time, at all. But they all it's like death by 1,000 cuts. And you just keep being reminded of it. Just sucks.
Bruv, it does suck. It does suck. And you know what, Nash? I'm reminded of a conversation we had maybe 12 months ago now. Remember when we talked about the responsibility to represent during Black History Month at work?
Fuck that.
Right. Do you remember?
I told
So
you.
this is
I'll say it again now.
But
Fuck
all right, so
that.
this is where I've got to defer to you, bruv, because at the time, if you remember, I said, listen, if not you, Nyasha, then who, bruv? You need to be at the forefront of these type of movements. The education piece is yours and mine. So even though it's tiring and we don't have bandwidth, I argued then and kind of want to argue now that we should be doing more. But sometimes, Nasha, the truth is, bruv, you just don't want to. For whatever reason, you're tired. Don't just roll me out when it's Black History Month or when you want to quote about Lewis Hamilton and the troubles that he's got. How about the jewelry, Cameron? How about, like, I don't want to be just rolled out for that. Don't make me the token through the way in which you engage me. I don't like it, Nasha, and it's jarring. And I sometimes, brother, as a simple man from Birmingham, of Jamaican heritage, I just want to turn on my TV on Saturday and Sunday and watch some F1. That's all. Is that too much to ask for? Is that too much?
It is. It is.
Apparently so.
Shut up and pod. so complaining.
Yes. Yes. Shut up and drive.
Look, let's bring some lightheartedness into this. Word on the road is, you know what? I want to preface this. Oscar Piastri is having a standout season.
Oh.
He's having the best rookie season I've seen since.
It's been a minute, bro.
I mean, look, that class of Lando, Russell, I wouldn't say Albon, but Russell and Lando, great, I think. Charles Leclerc, great rookie season. But we're seeing, I think, for the first time, I think we're seeing standout drives week after week after week after week after week. He's on course to potentially break Lewis Hamilton's rookie record of Tasha, can you get it up? I think it's 107 points. I want to say of his 2000.
Were they 25 points them times?
Okay, we'll get to that. Of course they won. So I want to preface it by saying Oscar Piastri is having an incredible season. To compare Oscar Piastri, 110 points, thank you. To compare Oscar Piastri's rookie season, as I saw in motorsport.com on their Twitter page or whatever, is the most laughable shit I've ever seen in my life. For those who don't know, in 2007, Lewis Hamilton was a highest thread away in a Chinese gravel trap from winning the F1 World Championship in his rookie season, going up against the two-time world champion in his own team. No disrespect to Lando Norris. He's not Fernando Alonso in 2007. Respectfully. What are we doing here? Why can't we just... The engagement farming techniques of what I would perceive to be storied and respected F1 organizations is just going down the drain every week as they resort to stand-like propaganda for the sake of engagement. Thoughts on Oscar Piastri's rookie season on 83 points. And again, just to reiterate, before the maximum points that you could get for a race win was 10 points. Obviously, at the moment it's 25, and that's dished down lower towards 10th. Also, it was first till 6th, I believe.
Yeah.
And not first till 10th. Why does Lewis Hamilton's rookie season keep being disrespected and not lauded as one of the greatest things we've ever seen in the history of Formula One?
Because, Nyasha, the answer to your question is very simple. Because you don't know because you weren't there them times. That's the truth, man. A lot of people
outside. You were outside. I'm sorry. You can buy those little retro McLaren Vodafone jackets off eBay for £30 as much as you want. You weren't there.
Coming on the back of Drive to Survive. I don't want to gatekeep, Nyasha, but we were talking to truth here. A lot of the people that are watching F1 today, 25% of whom came in via the Drive to Survive route. So they don't, unless they went back and watched it on YouTube and did a bit of due diligence, I don't think a lot of people are aware of what for many was the greatest rookie season of all time, right, in 2007 by Sir Lewis Hamilton. Let me just say this, Nash, I second everything that you've just said. Oscar Piastri is a wrecking ball of a driver, incredibly stoic and measured. His maturity, people have talked about ad infinitum at this point. Okay, so his race pace leaves a little bit to be desired, but it's something that he's working on. You wouldn't expect anything different from a dude in his rookie season, unless, Nyasha, your name is Sir Lewis Hamilton in 2007. Let's put some respect on this dude's name. That year, Nyasha, and again, people have talked about Lewis Hamilton for a while. There was a bubbling feeling in the paddock that this dude had something, and it was coming there to take names. He wasn't coming there to be an also-ran. You remember the bloody overtake on Pizzioni and Piquet in GP2. He was doing things in GP2, not your average driver. But who was going up against, if I'm going to set the table, was Fernando Alonso, two-time champion, who just sent Michael Schumacher, the Red Baron, the Regenmeister, one of the greatest to have ever done it, still today in October of 2023 into blood clot retirement. Nyasha, that's the context. That's who Lewis Hamilton had in the opposite side of the garage. WTF, chap. Lewis Hamilton 2007 was a force of nature, Nyasha. You remember turn one, lap one, putting one around the outside, bro, of Fernando Alonso. Are you having a laugh in your first ever race? You don't do that. You don't do that. That's not to be done by a rookie. not to Fernando Alonso, two-time champion, man who beat the invincible Michael Schumacher. He was a proper force of nature that year, bruv. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it in my time watching F1. The things it was doing, the aggressive moves that it was doing in that car with precision. Anybody else does that move, they lose a front wing, they get a puncture. He was doing it pretty much pitch perfect. Made very few mistakes over the course of that year. Fellas, guys, girls, let's talk truth here. Oscar Piastri is not that. Not that. How dare you put Oscar Piastri in 2023 in the same sentence as Lewis Hamilton in 2007? Behave yourself. Go take 2 seats with that foolishness, Nyasha. Next question, bro.
No, yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? That's all that deserves. That's all that deserves. Honestly, guys, let's be guided, okay? Let's be, look, I get gassed as much as the next man. I've made a whole living of this podcast getting gassed. But let's be guided, people. let's use our, huh? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I wonder on F1 Tour, if I shook your head, all I hear is
Bruv.
the rattling of these pea brains in your head. Just going,
no.
What is, honestly,
bruv,
I just don't get it.
Be kind. Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do.
No.
They weren't there, bruv. They weren't there.
No.
If you were there, you remember Fuji 07. You remember that, bruv. You remember Monaco, where Lewis was putting the flames up the gearbox of Fernando Alonso. You remember those moments, Adelaide. There's a gazillion of them. Yeah. He was exceptional.
America.
Bruv, you shouldn't be able to do that as a rookie in your first year in not GP2 or F3 or anything like that. In F1, there is a learning curve. You know, like how when man gets signed to the Premiership, like Haaland did, they say, no, there's going to be that acclimatizer.
Yeah.
None of it. Lewis Hamilton jumped in that car and drove it like he'd been driving it all his life. Put some respect on
And
Lewis
I just want to say, this argument that, oh, well, he was lucky because he went straight into a winning team. Are you thick? Do you think they just put bums in those seats? Do you think big man like Ron Dennis is funding a man's career from before his balls have dropped because he's a charity case? Ron Dennis knew, like, this kid is special. And he put him in that car because he had the ability to be in that car. And even Ron Dennis was not expecting Lewis Hamilton to even be on pace with Fernando Alonso. They didn't even give them the same fuel strategy for the first 5 races. That is a sign of greatness, guys. And sometimes it's okay to just say, you know what? No matter what you think about Lewis Hamilton now, no matter what you think about the diversity and inclusion shit that he's on, no matter what you think about his PR, his outside life, his driving abilities now, whatever, you could not take away the 2007 season. No. You can't be gassed about certain things in this sport and then turn around and say, well, he was supposed to do that in that car. Tell that to certain men that have gone to Red Bull and are sinking and they're in that. Bro, they're retiring. Sick and tired.
Supposed to do what, Nyasha? Beat Fernando Alonso. Okay, so they were level on points, but do on count back. Nevertheless, all told, Lewis Hamilton in his rookie season, 2007, beat 2-time champion, man who had beaten Michael Schumacher, Fernando Alonso. Like, that's no that's something to write home about, Nyasha. It's worthy of mention, bruv. Levels.
It's pretty fucking good. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty fucking good. Look.
Oscar Piastri. Behave.
No, and look, again, Oscar Piastri is most likely to be my next driver once Lewis goes. That's where I'm leaning. I think he's great. I think he's, you know, when you see something in someone, I've been waiting. I've been waiting to see something in someone where I'm like, you know what? You're the one.
bro.
And that is on track, off track. And the temperament is wild.
Nyasha, I rate him highly, but to this rookie game, if we're comparing the market here, get this, Nyasha, there is levels to this ish. How dare you mention Oscar Piastri in 23 in the same sentence as Lewis Hamilton's season in 07? How very dare you? Here it is, Nyasha. Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do.
And look, if you haven't watched the 2007 season, it's a great season. Goes down to the last race. You know, Kimi Raikkonen, for fuck's sake, just come out of nowhere. And look, if you're talking about drivers, Kimi Raikkonen before he went to Ferrari,
mate,
was talking about Sauber to McLaren West. Kimi Raikkonen.
Levels.
You know, the people now know him as the guy that just says one word and this guy was unreal. So I would highly recommend it. All the drama in there, obviously Spygate, you've got the Hungarian Grand Prix, that kicking off. Alonso versus Lewis at the US Grand Prix is some great wheel-to-wheel racing between two people who clearly do not like each other. Monaco. Yeah, I would I think it doesn't get spoken about enough. The 2007 season, it's a great season of F1, and I would highly recommend it. I think we'll just leave it there. I was going to be like predictions for Austin, but honestly, I'm just counting down the races till the season's done. I can't. I'll be honest.
2026.
I just honestly, yeah, really. I'm really looking forward to the season ending and spending as much of November to February not as intensely thinking about this sport as I currently have to. And that's on me. That's on me. But Cam, thank you for being an incredible guest. I hope everyone liked that. I really enjoyed that. Time flies. 30 minutes we were going to try for. Who were we kidding? Where can people find you?
CameronF1 on the YouTubes, CameronF1 Live on the YouTubes, CameronF1 YT on the Twitters, talking all sorts of nonsense and spewing all sorts of erroneous, evidensibly incorrect theories on their rambling F1. You know how we do, Nash.
Seen how the tides turned on Toto Mercedes.
Bro, I'm not even gonna, because you know why I'm not talking about it, Dasha? Because you always, every time I come on here, you're telling me about I'm doing some victory laps. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. He's hoping they can do something for next year, full stop. Look, forget previous indiscretions. Everybody can make a mistake. Yeah. Fix the car and fix the pit stops, because this time next year I don't want to be on Quick Stop F1 having these same bloody conversations where I'm having to hold Toto's feet to the fire. Don't want to do it, bro. No, neither of us want that at all. Guys, thank you for listening, watching, wherever you are. Remember, obviously, leave the ratings on Spotify, 5-star, Apple, reviews, Patreon, ad-free. And remember, like and subscribe to the channel. Really helps. Like, it really helps. You guys liking and subscribing has gotten us more subscribers and more views. And it's simple maths. Like and subscribe. The next time you see me, it will be on a stage in Austin. So you know what? I'm not here to be. I'm sorry. Me and Tandy built this shit up from the ground up, brick by brick. There was no one like us before. Now I'm seeing tethers of this podcast all over the shop. Don't piss me off. Thank you so much, everyone who's bought a ticket. Still a few tickets left. It's in an art gallery. I haven't actually described it. We're doing an F1 live show in an art gallery. We've got a DJ there who's going to be spinning tunes. We've got free drinks all night. That's on us.
as our way of saying thank you to you. What more could you want if you are in and around that area? I don't know. But if that sounds like your fancy, come through. Can't wait to. If I see any of you guys at the race, if you're there, let us know. Hopefully, we'll see you guys there. And yeah, I think that's it. I think we're good to go. Cameron, thank you so much for your time. You guys, thank you for your time. Take care of yourselves. I do want to say that apartheid is wrong. And the situation in the Middle East is fucked. It has been fucked for decades. Some could even say it's been fucked for a lot longer than that. And I want to make it super clear that we as a platform stand against any apartheid states and any situations where people are forced to live in an open air prison for decades and where there's war crimes being committed by one state onto another. That is absolutely against any basic human right that any of us who are listening to this podcast, I think, take advantage of and take for granted every single day. So our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Palestine. And for those who are innocent bystanders in a war in Israel, we stand with you as well, because you've not asked for this situation for when you live. But our thoughts are with the people of Palestine, and I really hope that the stuff that we're seeing stops because it's fucking disgusting. And I have to say that. Oh, remember, no matter what life throws at you, keep on the black stuff. Take care. Look, mate, if you've got this far, clearly you like what we do. So here's a link to subscribe to the Quickstop F1 family. Give that a click. And here's another link to some more cool on our channel. Sorry, cool stuff. And remember, no matter what happens, keep it on the black stuff. Click the stuff. Click the links. Click the links. Click the links. There. They're there.